I called my daughter-in-law on a Tuesday afternoon in late October, and the first thing she said wasn't hello. Did you get the invoice? No, how are you? No pause. Just business. I said yes. Good. The supplier needs to be paid by Friday, or they'll hold the shipment. Before I could say anything else, she hung up. I stood there in my kitchen, phone still in my hand, staring out at the backyard I'd spent 30 years taking care of. The maple tree in the corner had turned completely red. My wife used to love that tree. She would have called it beautiful. She's been gone 4 years now. And somehow, I still turned to tell her things. The reason I called wasn't about an invoice. It was simple. I wanted to ask when my son's clinic was opening. He had been working on it for 2 years. A physiotherapy and rehabilitation center. His dream. The thing he told me would change his life. And I believed him. I didn't just believe him with words. I gave him $340,000. Everything my wife and I had spent our lives saving. Not because I wanted control. Not because I wanted my name on the door. Just because he was my son. At the beginning, he kept me close. Every Sunday we talked. He told me everything. Renovations, equipment, hiring. He sounded excited. Proud. I was proud too. Then slowly things changed. The calls got shorter. Then they stopped. And somewhere along the way, I went from being his father to just someone who received invoices. I told myself it was normal. Businesses get busy. People grow. But deep down, it didn't feel normal. It felt like I was being pushed out. That Friday, I decided to drive to the clinic. No call. No warning. Just go see it. It took about 40 minutes. When I got there, I parked, stepped out, and started walking toward the building. And then I stopped. There were plants in the windows. Artwork on the walls. A clean sign above the door with the clinic's name. And inside, people. A receptionist at the desk. Patients sitting in the waiting area. The clinic wasn't opening soon. It was already open. I didn't go in. I just stood there on the sidewalk, trying to understand what I was looking at. How long had it been open? Why didn't I know? Why wasn't I there? I went home. That night, I called my son. Voicemail. I called again the next morning. Voicemail. My own son sending me to voicemail. I waited a full day before calling his wife. She answered immediately. When did the clinic open? I asked. There was a pause. About 6 weeks ago, she said. We kept it small. Just family and close colleagues. I let that sit for a second. I wasn't invited. Trevor didn't want pressure, she said. You know how he is. Yeah, I know exactly how he is. I raised him. I spent his entire life protecting him from pressure. But I never thought that I would become the pressure. I kept my voice steady. I put $340,000 into that clinic. We're very grateful, she said quickly. He'll call you this week. He didn't. And that's when something in me shifted. I'm not a reactive person, but I'm not blind either. So instead of arguing, I started paying attention. I went back through everything. Every transfer, every email, every invoice. And the more I looked, the less it made sense. There were charges I didn't recognize. Monthly payments to a company I had never heard of. No explanations. No discussions. Just money going out. My money. So I asked a friend of mine, a retired corporate lawyer, to take a look. He went quiet for a long time. Then he asked me one question. Do you know who owns that company? I didn't. So I found out. It was her brother, getting paid thousands every month from the clinic, from the money I invested. No experience. No clear role. Just payments. That was the moment it stopped being uncomfortable and started becoming something else. So I didn't call. Not yet. I gathered everything first. Then I asked for a meeting. Tuesday afternoon. At the clinic. Both of them there. When I walked in this time, I didn't stop at the door. I went straight to the back office. They were waiting. My son looked tired, like he hadn't slept. His wife looked calm. Too calm. I put the papers on the desk. Let's go through this, I said. For 2 hours, the truth came out in pieces. She said the payments were justified. He said he didn't know the full details. She said he approved it. He said he trusted her. And I sat there, watching my son realize something in real time. The story he thought he was living wasn't the full story. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't argue. I just said one thing. I need this in writing. Everything. And I want a repayment plan for that money. Silence. Then she said she needed time. I gave her 2 weeks. When I stood up to leave, my son followed me outside. He didn't look at me at first. I'm sorry, Dad, he said. I know, I told him. I didn't know she was paying him that much. I believed him, because I've known him his entire life. He's a builder, a dreamer, but not always someone who checks the details. And this time that cost him. Fix it, I told him. Not for me. For yourself. 2 weeks later, I got the documents. Every expense, every payment, and a plan to pay it back. I accepted it, but I added one condition. Any major decision going forward comes through me first. She agreed. Not happily, but she agreed. After that, things didn't suddenly become perfect, but they became honest. My son started calling again. Not long conversations. Not like before, but real ones. He told me things he had been hiding. The struggles, the stress, the arguments. He said he didn't want to disappoint me. And I told him something he should have always known. You don't lose me by telling the truth. You lose me by hiding it. I was never at that grand opening. I never stood there, shaking hands, feeling proud in that moment. And I won't pretend that didn't matter. It did. But a few months later, he called me again. This time, for something small. Do you want to come by for dinner? He asked. Just the three of us. At the clinic. I said yes. We sat in the back, at a folding table, eating takeout. Nothing fancy. No speeches. No celebration. Just quiet. And at one point, he looked at me and said, "This wouldn't exist without you." And I knew. He didn't just mean the money. That's the thing people don't understand. Money is the easy part. You spend your life saving it, and you can lose it in a single decision. But what's harder is investing in a person. Years of showing up, supporting them, believing in them, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts. Today, the clinic is doing well. The payments come every month. I visit regularly. And one day, my son called me before making a big purchase. He asked for my approval. That call meant more to me than any grand opening ever could. Because I don't need to be celebrated. I just need to be included. And there's a difference. So if you've ever given everything to someone, your time, your trust, your money, and started feeling like you don't matter anymore, pay attention to that feeling. Don't ignore it. Don't silence it. Ask the questions. Look at the numbers. Demand honesty. Because real family isn't about avoiding hard conversations. It's about sitting down, facing them, and choosing to work through them anyway.